This next part I almost hesitate to do because it's some muscle structure, but I think we will be all right as long as you pay attention to where I put these two muscles on here. So it's going to kind of come from right here at the top part of where the gills are and kind of where that line comes through there, and it's going to angle diagonal kind of towards that fin right there. I'll put it on lightly to start with. It just kind of angles that way, and it gets more narrow as it moves towards that fin. So it starts off a little wide, and then immediately starts to get more narrow. It's a little side muscle on the side of a shark. And they are pretty muscular animals. And then there's another one underneath it that kind of sweeps down more towards this one here. And it's going to be kind of the same shape. It doesn't point right at it, but it kind of ends right there. It's a little bit darker. I'm going to make these slightly darker because when we rub it with the Kleenex, and I'm going to connect them right there, when we rub that with the Kleenex, it will get a lot lighter. And then right behind the eye, between the eye and this dorsal fin here, there's another one that kind of comes right here. I'm going to angle this one down a little bit. This one's a little bit wider, and then it just ends. Okay? So it's like 3 stripes, but you're using the side of your pencil. You're keeping those soft and fuzzy on purpose. Let's get those laid in, and then we're going to go and do a little bit darker in a couple of places, and then it's time to start smoothing this out. All right, if you were gone yesterday, of course, the video from yesterday is already on your canvas, so you can get yourself caught up. All right, so this part of the back up here on top of the eye, I'm going to go just a little bit darker along here. I'm going to make this pretty dark. It's not black, but it's pretty dark on this very top edge. And then I'm going to just blend it down into what I've already got on there. So I'm going really dark. And then blend it down. I don't want it to look like a big fat line though. I just want to use the side of my pencil. I don't want it to look like a line like this here. It's just dark and then gradually gets lighter. Also the top of the tail right here. Do that same thing. Go just a little darker and then fade it out. Just on the top edge. We're not going to do that on the bottom of the tail, but just this top part right here. And part of that is because when we go and smooth this out, that will lighten all of that. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the front side or the left side of this fin. I'm going to go a little bit darker and then just let it fade out as I move towards the left side. So right side, fade out as you move towards the left. And if you accidentally get a little bit in the white like I just did, use your eraser to fix it. Dadgummit. All better. And then I'm going to come down on the tip of this fin, and I'm going to go just a little darker here too. Sorry. I'm going to take this center line that comes below the eye where we had the top and the bottom. I'm going to make this top half slightly darker. And I'm going to angle it down just a little bit kind of through the fins right there. And down this muscle. And then I'm going to just make this just a little darker here too. This way the top of the fish, or shark, they are fish, the top will be slightly darker than the bottom here. Now, I'm going to ask a question. It's an educated guess. We'll see who gets this. When I go to smooth this out, do I want to start with the lightest area or the darkest area? Lightest. You're correct, lightest. Why would I want to start with the lightest area? Go ahead, Edie.
So that if you, after you do your dark one, it doesn't get your light, it makes it darker.
That's right, because if we start with the dark and then we just pick up our Kleenex and move down here, it's going to make our light area way too dark. So with our Kleenex, I'm not going to just have it out. I'm going to fold it up several times so I can get a little tiny corner on it so I can control where I am. smoothing it out, and where I'm not, I just want a little point like this. So just fold it and fold it and fold it till you get a point. That's all you're trying to do. And try to make it a little more stiff so you can control it. See, like here where it's not that way, it's all soft and you can't really control where it's going to go. But this part, you can't. So I'm going to come along, I'm going to move it this way, trying to keep my hand off my drawing, keeping my hand lifted up. I'm going to come along the bottom, and I'm going to go in the same direction that I shaded it in, and I'm just going to lightly come along there and smooth this all out on the bottom, the belly of the shark. And I'll just bring that right on up a little bit. But mostly I just want to worry about the belly for right now. And it totally and completely changes the texture. If you're looking at your drawing up here, it looks rough. When you look down here, it looks smooth. And it's actually kind of cool. It's almost like magic. This part right here on this fin is the same color as the belly, so we want to come in and smooth that out. Just be careful that you don't rub that dark tip down here into your fin and then make it darker than it needs to be. It needs to stay light. We're not going to come in here and do this fin, this fin, this fin, this fin, tail, and the back just yet. We're going to focus on doing these couple of muscles here, and then we'll do the back. We're doing it all kind of in an order so that we don't get too dark where we don't need it too dark. So does anybody need more time to smooth out what we've done so far? Okay. Wait just a second. And I have to say, this is a cooler looking shark than what we've done in the past. When we finish, it's going to be really cool. Okay, right here where we have our muscles, I want to come in here and I'm going to press fairly hard because I want to soften that way up. I'm pressing down hard on that one, and pressing down hard on that one. Okay, I got them all softened up now, and then I'm just going to come along where that halfway mark is. Soften this all up. I'm just going all the way down, and now after you've got that, then come up to the very top of the back. Let's just soften the rest of this off here. Not worrying about the fins yet, we're just worrying about the body for right now. And if we've been careful and we press hard enough and we started hard enough, dark enough to start with, that body's looking pretty cool and just almost exactly like a real shark. They appear very, very smooth. Raise your hand if you've ever been around a real shark. Has anybody been in? Okay, that's quite a few of you. Raise your hand if you know what happens if you pet the shark this way as opposed to petting it that way, if you run your hand on it. Does anybody know what happens? Raise your hand if you know what happens. Just raise your hand. Tell me, raise your hand. So what happens if you go the
wrong way, it's like cut you.
Okay, he says if you go the wrong way, it'll cut you. So if you go this way, they're smooth as silk because their scales are pointed that way. But their scales are super fine. They're very small, but they're like little razor blades. So if you go this way, it's like, oh, pretty little shark, he's so fluffy. And then you try to go this way, and it'll tear the skin right off your hand. So you got to be really careful when you handle something like this. If you ever find yourself fishing for sharks or around sharks, make sure you don't go opposite of nose to tail. Don't go tail to nose, because it'll hurt your hand big time. Of course, it's mouth. You want to stay away from that altogether. All right, now let's go down to the tail. And this is why we have this thing folded up, so that we can get in the little teeny spots. I'm just going to smooth it out. If you accidentally go outside the shark, you know, it kind of rubs and goes outside, and I can see a spot where I have on mine. That's what we'll use our eraser for later and clean it up. So right here on mine, I can see that I actually went outside a little bit. There's a little smudge right there. I just take my eraser, hit it, and it goes away. Just like brand new again, okay? Don't just leave those, though. I mean, clean up. If you make a small error, clean it up. Don't just live with it. Clear it up. Now I'm going to come down to this fin. before I do this fin, does anybody need more time before I get to this fin? Okay, I don't see any hands, so we're going to just start right here. Be really careful at the top, and then when you get down here near that dark area, be careful you don't rub too much of that into the fin, because you don't want to get that going too black. Does need to be darker than this one, though. Then we'll move over here and do that next little bitty fin right there. And then we'll do this little bitty fin right here. When you're finished with that, all those fins on the bottom should look really smooth. See a spot I missed right here? Those should look really, really smooth on the bottom. Then we should only have 2 fins left. The big one and the little bitty one. So I'm going to do the little bitty one first, because it's the easiest. So it's done. Erase off a little smudge right there. Now I'm going to come up here to this big one, and I'm going to start on the light side. Have a cleaner part of your Kleenex to do that, or your paper towel, because we don't want that to go too dark on the light side. And then as I come over here to the front side up here, it's okay if it's a little darker, because we wanted that part a little darker than the back side. Can you see it now? We're almost done, but not quite. We're getting awful close, so. Clean up my little smudge. Okay, now we are going to use our eraser as a drawing tool, not as a clean up a mistake tool. We're going to use it as a drawing tool. So right here, on the front of the shark right here, I'm going to put a nice little curved line using my eraser. Try to do it in 1 or 2 swipes. That's all you need. That's a little highlight. I'll hold that up closer so you can see what it looks like. See, I just made a little highlight right there, like a little shiny spot. And it's not super wide, it's just little. Now I'm going to put one on the front side of this fin. I'm coming just to the inside. Put a little shiny spot on that. Mine got a little too big, so I'll just make it a little smaller with my pencil. Now he's got a little shiny spot on that fin. Now I'm going to bring another one that comes down towards the tail. Just kind of goes all the way down from behind the fin. I'll just get it on there lightly for the first try. And I'll come through and make it just a little brighter. But the key to this is to try to not have it be too jagged. That's why you want to try to do it in like 1 or 2 swipes. Now down here, it's not quite what I want. So I'm going to just take my Kleenex and make it go away where I messed it up. Now it's fixed. Now I'm going to put one right here on this edge of the tail. Kind of the top part of the tail there. And I'm going to put a little one on this fin right on this edge. Just a little bitty one right there. Okay, so when we're done, we have a little shiny spot here, a little shiny spot here, one that runs across here, one on the tail, and then one last little one that runs right there. Makes it look a little more alive. Got that little bit of a shine on it. And I think right here, I'm going to put a little wider one right here, kind of above the gill, coming right above this fin. I'm going to press a little harder and then lift it up. And what happens is when you press hard and you lift up, you get a wide and then it goes to a point. It'll just automatically do that. So you press hard and then lift up as you move towards the right, and it makes it go a little bit more narrow on it. That's a pretty good looking shark, to be honest. And I saw a lot of your drawings, and they were looking really good.